Ringo Starr, the beloved drummer of the Beatles, has recently spoken openly about a side of the Fab Four that fans rarely saw. In honest and revealing interviews, Ringo has shared the internal tensions and emotional struggles that nearly pulled the band apart. While the Beatles' music brought happiness to millions, the truth behind their relationships was far from perfect. According to Ringo, creative clashes, strong personalities, and the non-stop pressure of worldwide fame slowly created deep cracks between the band members. From fiery arguments inside the studio to moments of emotional distance, his stories reveal how difficult it was to be part of the most famous band on Earth. "I felt like a stranger in my own band," Ringo admitted, describing the loneliness and frustration he sometimes endured. When Ringo Starr finally decided to speak openly, many were stunned to learn just how close the legendary group came to falling apart. Let's rewind to July 1940, when Ringo Starr, born Richard Starkey, entered the world in Liverpool, England. Life was never easy for young Richard. He was an only child, deeply loved by his mother, but largely abandoned by his father, who left when Richard was just 4 years old. His mother worked tirelessly, taking on multiple jobs, first as a cleaning woman and later as a barmaid, to keep them financially afloat. Richard's childhood was further complicated by severe health problems. At 6, he underwent an appendectomy that led to peritonitis, forcing him to spend an entire year in a children's hospital. This left him far behind in school. Just as he began catching up with the help of a tutor, tuberculosis struck, sending him to a sanatorium for 2 years. Yet during those long and difficult days, something extraordinary happened. Hospital staff encouraged the children to form a small band to lift their spirits. Using a wooden mallet to tap rhythms on cabinets beside his bed, Richard discovered percussion. That simple moment sparked a lifelong love for drumming. In 1953, Richard's mother remarried, and his new stepfather became a strong positive influence, supporting his growing interest in music. When Richard returned home in 1955, school was no longer realistic. Instead, he worked various jobs, one of which introduced him to skiffle music. Skiffle, a genre played with homemade instruments, fascinated him. By 1957, he was performing regularly with a skiffle band and received his first drum kit for Christmas. A few years later, Richard joined Rory Storm and the Hurricanes, a proper band with professional instruments. Around this time, he adopted the stage name Ringo Starr, inspired by his love of wearing rings and his admiration for country and western music. His drum solos, famously called Star Time, became crowd favorites. During a tour in Hamburg, Ringo crossed paths with a young band called the Beatles, featuring John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, Stu Sutcliffe, and Pete Best. In October 1960, Ringo first played alongside Lennon, McCartney, and Harrison, marking the beginning of a legendary journey. In 1962, Ringo Starr officially joined the Beatles, replacing Pete Best. The reaction from fans was harsh. After their first performance at the Cavern Club in Liverpool, angry supporters of Best even gave Ringo a black eye. Over time, however, audiences embraced him, and he quickly became a fan favorite. Winning over fans was only part of the challenge. George Martin, the band's producer at EMI, initially doubted Ringo's drumming abilities. For early recordings, Martin brought in a session drummer while Ringo was assigned to tambourine and maracas. Terrified he might be replaced before truly starting, Ringo held on, and thankfully, it didn't take long for everything to fall into place. The band found its rhythm, and Ringo's position was secured. Their breakthrough came with Please Please Me, turning the Beatles into a national sensation in England. Their debut album Please Please Me sent Beatlemania into overdrive. Amid the chaos, Ringo had his spotlight moment, singing lead vocals on Boys. In an interview with Dan Rather on AXS, Ringo Starr, now 83, spoke candidly about the highs and lows within the band. He openly discussed how Paul McCartney, now 81, drove the group's productivity. Still, life within the Fab Four wasn't always smooth. No, we didn't get along, we were 4 guys, we had rows, Ringo said, recalling their frequent arguments. He explained that no matter how intense the disagreements became, once the count-in began, everyone gave their best. Ringo emphasized that conflict never interfered with the music. While Lennon and McCartney were celebrated as songwriting legends, Ringo's contributions were often overlooked. More than just a drummer, he helped keep morale high and brought balance to the group. Unlike many bands where drummers fade into the background, Ringo was a true member of the Fab Four. He sang one song on nearly every album and developed a drumming style that became a defining element of the Beatles' sound, inspiring generations of musicians. In 1966, the Beatles stopped touring, ending with a final concert at Candlestick Park in San Francisco in August. From there, they focused entirely on studio experimentation. This led to Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band in 1967, a groundbreaking concept album. In 1968, they released The Beatles, better known as the White Album, where Ringo shined with Don't Pass Me By. During those sessions, tensions intensified. Each member felt increasingly isolated, and Ringo, especially, felt pushed aside, particularly when Paul recorded Why Don't We Do It in the Road solo. Feeling unwanted, Ringo left the band, becoming the first Beatle to walk away. His absence shocked the others. They sent telegrams praising him as the best drummer in the world. When Ringo returned, he found his drum kit covered in roses spelling out "Welcome Back." Reflecting on McCartney's influence, Ringo explained how life eventually pulled them in different directions. He credited Paul's relentless work ethic for their massive output, saying the band produced far more records because Paul pushed them forward. Ringo also spoke about the shared Liverpool bond that kept their egos grounded, noting that if one member started acting like a big shot, the others quickly set him straight. Between 1963 and 1970, the Beatles released 12 studio albums, becoming the best-selling band of all time. Yet tragedy followed. John Lennon was murdered on December 8, 1980 at age 40, and George Harrison passed away from cancer on November 29, 2001 at age 58. Ringo's honest reflections add depth to the story of the Beatles, revealing the emotional struggles behind the music that changed the world. And while he has shared many memories, fans can't help but wonder, are there still untold stories waiting to be revealed? That's the story, uncovered here on Legend Uncovered.